I just wanted to
Sure.
answer Andrew Dyer's question. Just curious, does any Green Party candidate have a remote chance at winning an election, local or state? I I tend to think
How
I think so.
how harshly honest should we be?
I mean,
I
here,
think
I'll be the blunt, honest one here about this. The answer is yes, but if we're going to actually win significant, like bigger elections and have like real leftists win those positions, we have to start with the smallest elections possible and get our heads out of the dang clouds. I'm just going to tell you like it is. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying stuff like, I want to run for Senate. Running for Senate means swaying like half of your state to think that you're good, at least.
Mhm.
We can't even win like city council elections a lot of times with like radical
Hey,
leftist politics.
I
You
can't
got to
say this
take it.
enough.
You got to take it all the way down
I
to the
I
smallest election you can.
I can't say this enough. In 2020, the Green Party elected a mayor in Baldwin Park, California. Now, you can say all the things you want about the Green Party's presidential campaigns. In 2020, they elected the mayor of Baldwin Park, California.
And the Green Party is the only one that is actually the Green Party. I think the PSL is as well, but the Green Party is for nationalized healthcare. The Green Party is also for reparations.
Now, the main difference between the Green Party and the PSL is that the Green Party, in theory, wants to win an election.
Mhm.
In theory. I say in theory because there's all sorts of conversations that can be had in an episode just about the Green Party.
We'll not get into that today.
Yeah.
But that aside, the Green Party wants to win elections and believes that they can make a difference by participating in elections and advocating for their policies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's historical evidence to support that to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
There is no real reason to think that the PSL really wants to win an election. The PSL's point is to use elections to organize because they believe that we need a revolution. The PSL is first and foremost a revolutionary party. They don't expect that they're going to win an election.
And they wouldn't expect that to fix.
And if they won the White House, they would not expect that a PSL president would solve the problems.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference in tactics there. But I just want to say, like, listen, it's great that there are people out there giving it a shot at some of these bigger elections, but we really need to focus on smaller elections. We need to think like the sewer socialists of Wisconsin. They proved themselves by getting into small offices and fixing problems that actually affected people's lives. We have the ability to do that, especially a lot of small races aren't determined by that many votes. Some of them are nonpartisan, which means your party affiliation grants no benefit.
Ask North Dakota Republicans how they like their state's communist state bank. They love it. North Dakota is the only state.
His face right now.
North Dakota is the only one, because you mentioned the sewer socialists.
Yeah.
North Dakota is the only state in the country with a communist state bank that loans interest-free to people who live in the state. This is why almost no one in North Dakota is homeless, among other things, though there have been a big upshit in homelessness since mining has moved and oil has moved into the state, sadly.
Hold up. Wait. Backtrack. Chris, did you just bring in some good news on the stream?
Well, you can say whether it's good or bad or not. It's not horrible.
No,
it's generally been good for the people of North Dakota overall.
That's what I mean, Chris. That's what I mean.
Now remember, we're talking about.
You said it so nonchalant. You said it so calmly, and I'm just like, hold up. Why aren't you screaming?
Remember that we're talking about a state of petty bourgeois white people, so that there are some drawbacks.
I know, but you get little victories, Chris. Little victories. You gotta elevate your voice a little bit when it comes to this stuff. I mean, come on.
We need to talk about this stuff too, because public banking is something that Howie Hawkins pushed on his platform.
It's something that Bernie Sanders and even someone as liberal as Kirsten Gillibrand has pushed for.
I had no idea. I'm learning new shit. This is good.
I just want to say, I got into a debate. I was on a presidential debate stream on a different show, where I debated on behalf of voting Green Party, and the Biden person representing Biden said that public banking was an absurd fantasy. North Dakota has it, folks. First of all. Second of all, what I said to him, and which I'm going to say right now, is, do y'all think of Germany as like a socialist paradise? Not really. It's like if anything, it's kind of a capitalist haven. The capitalists love to talk about Germany's efficiency and stuff like that, right? Like 50% of Germany's banking is publicly owned, y'all.
But wait a minute, hold on. Didn't we have public banking through the United States Postal Service years ago?
A little while, yeah. that was a thing for a while.
So why is it such a novel, such a foreign idea when we literally had it in this country years ago?
And North Dakota still literally has it. The reason that North Dakota is a petty bourgeois state is they literally have a bank whose job is to provide capital to the citizens of North Dakota. So that's obviously succeeded for them. Now, the reason it happened is because North Dakota had a bunch of sewer socialists who were elected to office during that period of time. They were elected on a local level because towns in North Dakota were small and there was not a lot of profit motive in giving them electricity and sewers and public transportation. So they had to get these things through their city government, and their city government had to get these things by lobbying the federal government for the money to do it, and by charging these big taxes. And the whole point is that they were going to provide these services to the people of North Dakota so that they could survive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and then eventually they got enough power in the state to pass the law that created the bank.
Okay, Cody, you know what? We don't have to go back to Germany since we have public banking here at the United States Postal Service. So I think my friend Sabby will stay here because she's an American and this is her country, and if she wants to make it better, then she'll make it better.
Yes.
So yeah, you know what? My thing is this is something that I think should be brought up like a lot more often. And one of the things I want to give attention to is you said sewer socialist. So I'm going to use my brain and try to figure out what it is, and you're going to tell me whether I'm hot or cold.
Okay.
So game time, people. So basically, from what I gather, sewer socialist basically means people who are socialist, but they're kind of like covert socialist. They don't necessarily make it known.
No, they were very open.
They were overt.
They were very overt. They were running for local improvements, things that everybody needed, that everybody would benefit from, and which it was very hard to argue against.
Yep.
Imagine, because this is tremendously important. Imagine when North Dakota was a state of farmers who hated private banking and corporate banking. Because Kennedy can tell you, you're a farmer, Kennedy. Who do farmers hate more than anyone else in the whole world?
Well, lately, I will say anti-repair laws have made this complicated, but
That's
generally,
fair.
it's the banks.
Yeah, there's a whole history. So, in a historical material perspective, the banks are farmers' number one enemies. Whether that's necessarily 100% true or not, there's actually sort of a symbiotic parasitic relationship there, where under capitalism, the farmers could not exist without the banks. But at the same time, the banks are ruthlessly exploiting the farmers who need them.
Wow. Okay.
And this is why North Dakota's public bank was impossible to vote against.
So the policy of the sewer socialists was to run for the smallest elected offices on platforms that were so obviously what the community wanted that it became very hard to run against them.
Exactly.
And literally, they fixed up the sewers, which is how they got this nickname.
Or in places like North Dakota, they built the sewers.
Yeah, or they built them for the first time. Because keep in mind, the sewer socialists started in the late 1800s.
Oh,
so,
Quaker Socialists, stay tuned, because I'm actually got Jabari Morris. I actually have him scheduled already. So Quaker Socialists, I'm actually way ahead of you on that one.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so that's amazing. And I think this is one of the things that makes especially capitalists so scared, especially capitalists in both parties, is that okay, go ahead, please.
No, it's just, but think about it, because we're talking about the banking thing. Postal banking. We talked about Bernie being for, I mentioned Bernie being for it.
Yeah.
Imagine a presidential election where Bernie is running against Trump, and Trump is talking about privatizing the post office, and Bernie is talking about postal banking for everybody. Now, when you start thinking about what farmers think, if you think about how farmers think about banks versus how farmers think about the post office, you start to see how postal banking for everybody becomes, a serious play for red states that would not otherwise be in play. That's the sort of thing that was shut down by the Democratic Party in favor of Joe Biden.
Yeah. Wow. I'm thinking of I'm thinking how, if we had public banking, would the 2008 crisis have been so severe?
If we had public banking, there wouldn't have been a 2008 crisis, because a public bank that behaved itself would force private banks to behave themselves in order to stay competitive.
Yeah. I'll say this too: if we had a public bank, we wouldn't have credit scores.
Exactly.
If we had had a public bank that was formed around 100, 150 years ago and still existed to this day and was a federal United States public bank, we wouldn't have credit scores.
We wouldn't. So again, credit scores are something else that's worth their own episode about.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but
credit scores only exist to extend racist housing discrimination after racist housing discrimination became illegal.
Yep.
Wow. Ramsey R says, America all about new stuff every few weeks. How come they don't want to try socialism?
Well, the younger ones kind of do.